Okay, so here's the deal. Many times we don't realize it, but our jobs, which we need to pay the bills and sustain the lifestyle, it's a trap. What do I mean by it's a trap? What I mean simply is this. If your job is all that you know, I mean, all that you've done, if you've been there for 20, 30, 40 years, it's a trap. Your experiences will be vastly limited, and your understanding of how people engage and interact in life on a much broader scale will be down to a very, very minimum. And what I mean by that simply is that there's much more to us than our jobs. There's much more to us than the things that we experience on a day to day basis. We have to understand that the simple fact of the matter is, in order to be the best version of you and to be able to live your life to the fullest, you have to have broad experiences. And yes, you can have broad experiences to a degree when you're in a company and you've been there for 20, 30, or 40 years because there are different departments, different divisions, and sections. I get that. But different industries, different personalities. Sometimes that can re energize or reinvigorate your senses to how to deal with people and deal with different situations, different locations, different opportunities. And, you'll find that many times we take each other for granted when we're around one another for a long or an extended period of time. And that's how most people are. That's part of human behavior. We take things for granted because we become used to it. But when we have new stimuli in our lives, we start to look at things a little bit differently. We start to view life differently, whether it's the opportunities, whether it's the financial advantage, whether it's, whatever. You want to give yourself an opportunity to grow at all times. Like they say, if you're not growing, you're simply dying. Being stagnant is a way to consider yourself dying off because there's nothing new. There's no life being infused in you. There's nothing to capture your interest. There's nothing to make you want more, strive for more. Because what happens also, thinking that, well, I'm getting a promotion. Well, I'm earning six figures. Well, I'm really on the top of my chain. How long will that truly sustain you when you're starting to look again for something else to hold your interest, something else to make you feel valued and valid? You see, being who you are and you're thinking that you have, that has gotten you as far as you are. But when you start to look at life through a different lens, then and only then can you appreciate really the benefits and the joys of being the best version of yourself. Those new experiences and those outside vibrations that you will experience will do things for you that I can hardly tell you or explain to you because everyone is different. What motivates me is different than what motivates you. What motivates you, sky is the limit. So with that being said, realize there's nothing wrong with your job, nothing wrong with long tenure, but make sure outside of your job you have something. You're coaching a boys a club, or you're teaching young girls how to do something. You're doing something in the community center. You're working with the elders. You do something in your place of worship. Do things that actually add value to the lives of others, and you will see how you internally grow. And that's the key. So don't just look at your job as, I got my job, I've been here, and I'm set. Well, how set are you? And maybe you are set up for failure, set up for sadness, set up for regret. There's so much more to life than what you do for 8 hours of the day. Consider being an entrepreneur. Stuff envelopes, do multi level marketing. Whatever it is, just do something outside of having your job because that's where the magic happens. When you start to have different experiences, you find people that have extreme mindsets and views on doing things. You meet and work around people that maybe don't want things, and it gives you a chance, I should say, to measure yourself from people from this end of the scope to people from that end of the scope. Where do you fall, and what is it that you really want? Listen, what I know is this. The things that I was taught when I was a young man or a little boy to becoming a young man and as a seasoned adult, have vastly changed in my life. My mindset, my heart, I no longer have those same beliefs for the most part. Some things, yes, they are standards and they will stay that way, but I see the world completely different. I do have a spiritual relationship with the great I am, but you should too. But if you're honest with yourself, when you're all alone, you know when you've made a right move and when you've made a wrong move. And that in itself, folks, should be enough to let you know that maybe you should start making moves a little bit